bad kid stories. That is the most real thing I have ever experienced in my life. I got fired from working at Red Robin for doing that. When did we get the Barry Himina thing to jerk off on him? I'd say I could take on 311. And he clicks the button and he gives this woman causing him to fuck out. This is the weirdest theory I've ever heard in my entire life. In a lot of ways, Big Boy has never left. I agree. He will tell you I'm a bad driver, but there's no evidence for that. I've been convicted, and I'm convinced people fall for absolute monsters on a regular basis.
Hey, hello. Welcome to the Two Hippies, One Drunk podcast. Thanks so much for checking us out. If you have not yet liked our Facebook page or subscribed to our YouTube channel and you're listening to this regularly, we would really appreciate if you could do that. It just helps us so much in trying to grow the show. We do things a little different on this podcast than most in that we have a rotating host cast of three of us, longtime comic friends, me being Eric Fady, Tyler Charles.
Tyler Charles, right
Tyler
here.
Charles. on your right, if you're looking at Facebook or YouTube, and Scott Ryan there on the left.
Hey, what up?
Anyway, so for anyone that's watching live, yes, this is a different day, but we just had some life stuff that got in the way, so we're doing it now. But if you're listening, it won't make a difference. As one of my old partners used to say, it will be transparent to the listener because it doesn't make a difference when you're listening. So it doesn't really matter. I guess do you want to explain the promotion with giving away the tarot readings or a drawing?
Yeah. We're essentially doing this this drawing where if you give us 5 stars on iTunes and screenshot that and give us a review and prove that you have done that, you have the option of picking one of 3 drawings I've done or an hour tarot reading from Scott. So do that, give us 5 stars, gives us a review, show us you've done that, and you just get some free stuff, whatever you choose.
Yeah, we've had people who have already taken us up on it, and it's been really good.
Yeah, honestly, they loved what we got them, and they got an hour tarot reading from you, and they've gotten drawings from me, so it's been pretty great.
I've also mentioned this before, but YouTube is a big deal in this day and age. I was about to say, it sounds like such an old man, but it's a big deal for getting stuff like this going. And so, if you could go and subscribe, I know I mentioned that earlier, but I also put out these weekly things that are kind of shorts, a little snippet of what something funny from the previous show. So maybe you can share that with somebody that you don't want to make them listen to a whole show. Just give them an idea of what the show's like. So if you want to do that, we appreciate that as well.
Yeah, thank you. Do it.
So this week I'm hosting the show, Eric here, and we decided to call this a douchebag bracket.
Whoop,
and
whoop.
I kind of just had this idea of like that there's these people in all of our lives, and in my way of describing it, but it didn't work as well, for the title, but it's like that guy, or that girl too. It could be like, when you're in a line and you're like, oh, guy on a cell phone in the line, which actually I could have put on this fucking list and I didn't. God damn it.
What else are you supposed to do in a line?
This is the guy that you're complaining about.
You sit on your phone and
listen to music. You
not
can
typing.
Play a game. You cannot be loudly talking to somebody on the phone.
Yeah, okay, not loud. Okay, yeah, that's fair, not loud.
Okay, phone conversations in the line is what I'm talking about. Oh my God. Yeah, no, if you're talking about
on your phone, ignoring everybody, that's fine.
No, that's normal.
You're on the phone, you're in the middle of a conversation, you have to enter this line. What do?
You don't do it. It's so easy, dude.
Don't talk.
It's so easy, dude. Most of us our age, and then more people in general these days don't talk on the phone. But if you do, dude, I mean, it's easy to me. I regularly will say one of 2 things, dude. I'm about to go in the store. I'll call you back in 5 minutes, or I'll say I'm coming up to the line. Give me about 3 minutes, and I just hold the phone down or something. And I got to tell you, if you're in the line and you're talking on the phone, it is my right to be able to eavesdrop and listen and have any opinion I want on what you're discussing.
Absolutely.
Like
you brought me into this conversation.
Right.
Yeah. No, you're allowed to be a part of the conversation.
Right. You have lost
responding to what they're saying.
You have lost all privacy. I haven't per se done this, but honestly, God, I would not have a problem if someone was in line having a talk and then me saying, what I would do is I wouldn't, blah, blah, blah. And they're like, yo, dude, you listening? Yeah, we're in the fucking line and you're having a
Everybody in here
conversation.
is listening to you.
I'm
the only one
the
responding.
ears work. Yeah.
Right. Oh, we're all just supposed to sit here in a fucking, like we're in a bubble while you're on the phone babbling on. But anyway, nonetheless, I digress because I want to get into my little bracket here that was an idea I could have used. But so what I did is I have 16 what I consider like kind of douchebag traits, I suppose, as they were, or like personality thing, whatever you want to call it.
Personality flaws.
Yeah, flaws for sure. Oh, they're all flaws. There's no question about that. And it's just what is the biggest flaw and who is the biggest loser, or douchebag.
Whoever will win.
Right.
The douchebag bracket.
Right. This is one of those situations where the winner is a loser in this scenario. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through. I have, like I said, I have them in kind of for people to watch NCAA basketball. I have them kind of in that kind of style. I'll maybe hold it up here, but it will be really hard to see.
Yeah, we should have gotten a dry erase board.
Yeah.
Over your shitty handwriting.
Well, it's just for me. You guys
not amplify that handwriting.
look at want to see that, dude.
That's why we should have had it.
Look at this handwriting, dude. This is a 37-year-old man's handwriting. Like
that is a 6-year-old child's handwriting.
You paid a child to write.
Yeah.
And you know what? It's gotten worse because of the pandemic. I realized because like I don't do comedy right now. I've been doing comedy for a little bit, and I'm not doing my other podcast, and so like just in the day-to-day, I don't write anymore. Like if I do jokes, it's just on my Facebook and or on my notes and I just copy them to Facebook, copy them to, Twitter, whatever it is. And so I've noticed I don't write, like I haven't written in my hand in a while. Like I don't have to write stuff down. So it's gotten even worse. But so what I'm going to do here is I'm going to explain, like we're going to have a kind of somebody versus somebody. I'll explain to you guys who those are and what my reasons for them are. Then I'll let Scott and Tyler give a little opinion and then we're all going to vote. Whoever gets, 2 votes at least, it's weird. They're the winner, but like they're the loser because it means they're terrible. And they move on and we'll find the champ.
The biggest loser.
Yeah, there's honor in being the most terrible.
I would say if you want to be the most terrible.
Something.
Yeah.
Exactly. If
you're
if you're
being the worst.
Right. If you're gonna be bad, might as well be really bad, I suppose. So
yeah, you don't want to be middle of the road when it comes to this stuff.
So I'm gonna start off right here with a pretty honestly, I gotta say, right off the top, to me, this is kind of a hard battle, to be honest. So you got your super woke, which I think that doesn't need too much description, but I describe super woke as it is okay to have social values. It is okay to have opinions. It's okay to express those opinions on Facebook. But when you are just the person that is absolutely holier than thou, everything has to be like, anyone even makes a you know what I mean? Just, you have to like impede into other people's comments. Like maybe I just share a Tiger, like, oh, me at a Tigers game. You're like, baseball is actually, blah, blah, blah. And it's
run
like, dude,
by child slaves.
Right. It's like, dude, it's just me and my buddy at a baseball game, man. I'm just trying to.
Can I get a really good super woke example?
Sure.
Really quick that I ran into this week, actually. That drove me insane. I thought about this for days. There was, have you guys ever heard of AAVE, African American Vernacular English?
No, but
It's this idea some super woke people will express that is like, there's a certain way that black people talk, and you should not adapt their style. Now, I understand. We've all been around that person.
Right.
You're like, dude, you grew up in the suburbs and you're talking ghetto and obnoxious or whatever. But they had stuff on that list. They had like though with like THO, like you're not allowed to say that.
Isn't it racist, more racist by pointing that out and saying that's a black thing?
It's like really cornering them into this thing.
That's why I think some of this weirdness. Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say I went deep to it, like, and it was a weird situation because like I started going into the shares and reading the shares that these people were sending because I'm like, how do you? And it's all these people be like, man, I'm trying to learn, and I'm gonna be better from now on. Oh my God,
shut up, dude! So, by the way, and I'm not. This is such
a circle
jerk
of people.
There's like no black people to be found. Very few black people.
Of course, right. They're like, we don't give a fuck. Just shut the fuck up.
You know what's funny? Even discussing this is tricky on my end to make fun of it because it's like, dude, it's almost to me, it's almost more racist for saying that stuff. And it's like, because it's like, here's an example, and this isn't quite maybe the same thing, but I think it's like what you're talking about. Like, I've had someone recently refer to something as digital blackface, where like white people shouldn't share GIFs if there's like Kevin Hart in it, because like you're white and you're sharing a Kevin Hart GIF. That's racist.
I've also heard don't share a post if it's got the N-word in it. It's like the person who wrote it wants it shared.
Right. And think about the opposite of that. The opposite is saying that I think, wow, I'm texting my buddy or I'm on Facebook. And it's like, I think the best way to express this is a Kevin Hart laugh. It's like, whoa, I better not use that though, because he's black. So I'm just going to use all white people. Like,
everybody equal.
Exactly.
So to prove that I'm not racist, I'm only using white people and GIFs. Like, I guess.
Yeah.
So that was a good example. Do you have any? Tyler? You want to say anything? Maybe that you seem to like kind of agreeing on what Scott was saying.
No, absolutely. I mean, I think that super woke people are pain in the ass. I feel like there's a way to go over to this extreme spectrum where you end up being
I would argue you're not even
being the thing you're against.
I would argue you're not even helping. In most extremes, that's the problem. Most times if you get to an extreme level, but I would argue you're almost not helping at certain points. It's like, okay, we're all supposed to look at each other.
Causing more uproar.
And just very quickly, I know we got to move on, but to give some balance to this too, I also absolutely hate people who are obsessed with hating woke people.
Yeah, that's fair.
I agree.
You know what I mean? Like, that's also completely obnoxious.
Yeah.
No, I agree.
Doing that right now. I've never gave a shit on Facebook about that stuff or made my opinion of that known at all, because it's just not that important.
Yeah, I think entire careers on it. Like,
right.
I'm going to go to a college and trigger these college
spectrum.
Right.
Haters and fucking.
Well, Tyler, this will, by the way, a lot of this will appeal to almost every category. So I'm only going to say this once because these can fit with a lot of things we're about to say. But Tyler says this before, and it would apply to the woke people. If you're quote unquote woke, to me, you're a person who people would just know you if they met you, that, that guy's a caring person. Maybe sometimes he says something that he didn't realize was wrong, but he's willing to look at, you just are, and you shouldn't have to tell people that you are for the most part. People probably would just know that you are, but
exactly. It immediately discredits you when you do that.
So we've got the super woke, and like I said, I think this is a tough battle, to be honest with you, because I think we all know this person too, and that is the over yelper, the person that's going to yelp about, like, dude, like you're going to a restaurant and like the fries were
leaving
soggy.
A review you're talking about, like leaving a Yelp. Yeah. Fuck that is honestly, if we're comparing the two, that is worse to me. That is, I hate like people that do that. It's like, how do you take that time out of your day, unless that place like legit scorned you, like completely fucked you somehow, where it's like, I need to take the time to like shut this place down. But like otherwise, shut the fuck up.
And you have maybe one of those experiences every 5 years.
Right.
Yeah.
Seriously, dude.
Yeah. If you're having more, then it's you.
Yeah. And you honestly, with those things, you'll see a lot of the same fucking people. Just different things.
Oh yeah.
Like,
dude, I always use an example of like when you look at like Yelp reviews would count, but they could be Google reviews, whatever you want. Vegas is my best example, because like people have this idea of like what Las Vegas is right? You watch TVs, movies, you see The Hangover, you think you're going to be, and it's like you get to Vegas and it's like, for the most part, unless you buy a suite, they are just regular hotel rooms. Even if you're staying at the fucking, maybe if you're at Caesars, a little different, but if you stay at just a Flamingo or something on the Strip, they're hotel rooms. They're not going to be this like I said, every room isn't The Hangover where there's like a bowling alley and shit in your room. And you'll see
thousands
like
of dollars.
And plus, it's Vegas. You're not even supposed to be in the rooms. You're supposed to be at the pool, the craps, the shows, whatever.
Yeah, on the strip.
So, and you'll see people like, room was a little small. And it's like, dude, for one, you're at the Tropicana. It's, it's not one of the high end. Or it's like, come on. What do you expect?
Even saying something that, like, you saw pictures of the room before you went there. Like, and then you took that extra time. The room was a little small. You knew.
Yeah.
And the other thing is, like,
somebody is a top reviewer on Yelp or something, that is a strike against them in my mind.
Right. I agree.
You review too many things.
Yeah.
Why do you care?
Why do you care so much?
I think there's only, to be honest with you,
once every 5 years you get an opportunity to be like, this place fucking sucks. I've been to a place where I got bed bugs at the at this hotel twice.
Yeah.
2 different rooms I went to and got more bit in a different
You came
room.
back?
Still didn't leave a review.
Jesus Christ.
It's a long story, but I was essentially working, and the place I was working for was paying for my room. They paid for the shittiest place I could find.
Oh my God.
It was disgusting. Still didn't leave a review.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude.
Like, get the fuck
You
out
were
of
too
here.
busy putting lotion on
Yeah, for freaking out. Exactly.
Fucking. So I gotta say, even though
Quit my job soon after that.
I thought this would be a little tougher because I think super woke people are annoying, but in the end, I don't even think I have to ask, but we'll do it. Do you think it? So I'm assuming over Yelper is gonna move on here.
I think hands down, in my opinion, that's 1 vote for me. Over Yelper for sure. That is the worst human being.
Yeah, it's a close one for me because I feel like I deal with super woke people more.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Just being on social media and stuff. I don't go on Yelp, but I'll do Yelper. Sure, why
Okay.
Yeah,
That's a
Yelper move forward.
It's a sweep,
Super
man.
woke is annoying, but it's like
You can
honestly,
understand
I
what the
interact with that kind of shit less. And anytime I see like that stuff, will just roll my eyes at. And
Right.
if I see something on Yelp that's like a review, I get angry. I get like really frustrated at that.
I went to
person.
so and so, and the
you ever
French fries were
Yeah,
soggy.
exactly. Subway wasn't as good as it should
Have
be.
you
There
ever
was a
been
line.
at a place and then you have to adapt because of a Yelp
Oh
review?
yeah.
I've had that happen.
Terrible,
Where
dude.
they change their
Policy
like,
up, yeah.
protocol or-
Yeah, because like when COVID first happened and stuff, you would get if just I was working in a restaurant at the time, and you're in this situation all the time where you're working with food, you're busy, like you're all of this, and it's like your mask slipped below your nose or something.
Oh,
there was like
no.
a couple of months, I swear to God, where like there would be someone's
Someone's mask was below their
leaving a
nose.
Yelp review about it. Yeah.
What a
Shut the fuck
fucking
up.
loser.
Like you decided to come out here. Nobody forced you to come
What
out.
a fucking
You're
loser.
so scared of someone's nose being exposed. Stay home.
Yeah.
Stay home and fucking kill yourself.
All right, so that was 3-0. I'm gonna for the Yelper, by the way.
You went for Yelp too?
I went for Yelper in the end. You think I might have gone woke? The reason
You
I
think we influenced you at all? Or do you think that was a genuine answer?
I think that my final reasoning would be is that even at least at super woke, even if they can be annoying, there is a good intention behind it, whether they become douchebags or worse or not. There's a
Yelp
the
review
intention
is purely
Right.
malicious.
Yeah, they're just being an asshole.
That's fair. Misguided good intentions versus
Right.
just being an asshole.
I'll move on to this one could be an interesting one as well, by the way. These are gonna. It's funny. The first round is gonna take a long time, and then I think the other ones I'll kind of go through them because we've all kind of given our opinions already. So the first round will take a while here, but this one will be another interesting one, and I'm gonna go with the Karens versus Story Topper, like the guy the guy or girl who just like you're like, oh man, I was up at Yellowstone last night. Oh, dude, I was there once and I saw a grizzly bear and he was in my face and I had to punch him or something. Like they just always have a fucking story you can never, you're never allowed. They you tell something and there's just always, oh, well, I did 20 things better than you. It's like, okay,
I'll
dude,
start
whatever.
out with the story topper. I would say like I thought that stuff is kind of annoying, but at least sometimes you get some crazy stories that you get to listen to.
That's
They're true. Because a
That's
story
true.
topper
That's
is
true.
not above a lie.
You can't. Absolutely. I was gonna say, if you know that person for a long time, if you met this person one time and you're saying all this shit, and I might believe you, I'm not that mad.
Yeah, that's true. Like,
But if I know you, it's like you're lying to my fucking face, you piece of shit. Like,
Well,
I know
to me,
you.
even if you know them, and like for me, and I'm not trying to brag, but because of my very reckless life that I've lived, I don't think there's a lot of people short of like, there's not a lot of people in my circle or that I run into on a daily basis that I probably couldn't top at times. Because I mean, dude, I could have ended up dead in a ditch 10 times over from my like blacking out
Honestly,
in public.
it's like if I had to, I would, because I've lived a weird
Are you trying to story top Eric
Yeah,
right now?
right now.
Right, no,
I'm
right,
really-
dude,
I'm
seriously,
way better than
wow.
you.
Like, I'm literally
just
in
saying I relate.
But my point is like I
typically don't interject in those situations. Where
I purposely try not to that often because I'm like, dude, if I'm just at a little bonfire with some people, and, they're just kind of people I don't know or they're friends of friends. I purposely don't want to be the guy that sit there like, oh, you went to a Wings game? Well, one time I met Darren McCarty and I sat, in the bench or whatever. Like, so I purposely try not to do it because I don't like that guy so much.
Yeah.
But it's like, even if it's true, sometimes I think like, dude, even if you've lived that, you don't.
Oh my God. I was going to say, you have a pretty good example of a story topper you worked with that essentially got out of work because he said he was getting married.
No, that guy was a habitual, just compulsive liar.
But he was
that's a little different.
He was a topper.
Maybe. I was gonna say to me, like, because I would say the difference between there's a good story topper and a bad story topper, and it totally depends on how the story makes you look. If you're like, oh yeah, like you're
always the hero
before, and it's some guy being like, well, I banged 3 chicks at a time before. It's like,
yes.
Fuck you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But if you're like, oh yeah, I dropped acid, and the other guy's like, I dropped acid for a month straight.
Yeah.
Right. Like, okay, you tell me your story. I want to hear it.
If it takes a dark turn, you win.
Yeah,
and I get to. I want to know.
Yeah. If your story makes you look bad, top me. I want to hear.
That's a good point. That's a good point. You're right. If they're always the hero, they're always like, "Oh yeah, well,
I broke a bone. I broke every bone in my body."
Tell me
what
happened. Tell me the story.
What happened, dude?
Yeah,
that's a good point.
Honestly, and I brought this up first because definitely, I'm not voting for a topper. Karen definitely wins this one, and it's even without getting into the Karen stuff because it's good intention trying to a lot of the time it is people being, trying to be like, I'm the coolest in the room.
Right.
Or it's, a genuine thing like we were just talking about where I'm like actually interested. If I'm dealing with someone as the title of a Karen, that is just somebody who is doesn't want fun or enjoyment or life to happen.
Yeah.
And I don't want to be around that energy.
Or like an example of to me, I saw this was a while ago in Facebook. You could do a whole.
What is your representation
Facebook community pages? But there was a
white lady.
Right. Yeah, of course. Middle-aged white lady that maybe she has a job. Most likely it's like a part-time. Most likely
she has a husband.
Yeah. It's like if she works, it's maybe just to make a little money to maybe go to a girls' weekend up north or something, or she
whatever. Sells soap in a pyramid scheme,
or like plastic. What are they called? Like totes or
Tupperware.
Tupperware. There we go.
Yeah. So one time again, like I said, you could do a whole episode obviously on Facebook community pages, but for example, one time in a community page I saw one. She didn't post even that and her name wasn't technically Karen, but she didn't post that, oh, hey, just heads up, guys, there's long lines at the Starbucks all week. It was literally like, oh, heads up, guys, the Starbucks on this mile and this road, they have short help. So just so you know, there's going to be long lines. And it's just like, this fucking bitch, dude. These people are having a hard time. And I'm not saying you have to feel bad for Starbucks, but the workers in Starbucks aren't the corporation. Those are just kids.
And you're bitching about them and saying, instead of saying this place is short staffed, let's change that.
Like, hey, let's give tips. Hey, guys, it's short staff, so maybe we could give tips. Those kids are working hard, this or that. It's like, no, Absolutely. Hey, just FYI, they don't have as much workers, so there's going to be long lines to get your $12 Frappuccinos.
You know what, though? You know what? If I worked in that Starbucks, I would love, thank you for doing that. Thank you for directing people away from me.
That's a good point.
Goddamn $10 an hour,
no matter what.
Yeah, whether
that is a good point.
People.
That was not her intention, but that is a good point.
Social justice warriors accidentally.
That Karen you're describing is the opposite of the woke person, and that the woke person has good intentions but is being an ass.
Right.
Is attempting to be an
bad
ass,
intention,
but has good intentions. That's funny. That's a good point. That's a very good point.
Yeah, you may have swayed me on this.
And here's my thing. If I were to argue one more reason why we should not vote Karen here, it is because she's going to go up against the Yelp reviewer.
And they're the same person.
I know. That is a thing I didn't think about.
I was thinking about that while we were doing this too. Honestly. The only thing I would say is Karen is worse.
If it comes to that point, I can tell you what the
Story
difference. If it comes to that point, I'll tell you what the differences are because I think there is some differences.
We have to figure out who is worse, a Yelp reviewer.
Okay, well, Eric says he has some differences.
Well, and here's the thing about the story topper that I'll say, even though I don't personally tend to enjoy that, I would say I have an empathy for that person. A lot of times, those people too, and I'm not trying to put them in a box it's always the same person. But again, I always really feel very good about. I've lived a really very good life. I feel like I've done a lot of cool things and this and that. So the point is, some people aren't as lucky. They've had to work a little harder, and so maybe dude, the thing they have is a few of these stories, and it's like, if that's his time to shine,
I agree with you.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
Go ahead, man, my man.
Yeah. Hey, honestly, as long as I'm not the one who's being cut off, do what you want to do.
Yeah. So I guess I'm going to go with Karen as the worst here.
I know that it's going to be matched up with that, but I have to go with the one that's worse, and that's Karen.
We'll see. We'll see if they.
So you're just going with the.
No, I mean I would have to go Karen too. There's no other.
No.
Story topper, I think is good. Have to.
Yelp reviewer could be a dude though, so could be
anybody.
A dude can be a Karen.
Yeah, Kyle.
Is there
I could have put Karen / Kyle.
Male Karen? A Kyle, yeah.
No, Kyle's a completely different energy.
It's like a bro.
That's a good point. You're right.
He's gonna cry and punch the wall.
What's a dude? A cry and punch the wall.
He's right. They are different. Kyle and a Karen are different.
Is there a word for a male Karen?
I just said Karen.
Yeah.
It's not gender specific.
That's a good point.
Karen,
both very good points on Scott's part. I'm gonna go on to this one. This one is Scott kind of gave me an answer, and I'm gonna tell you, Scott, why I chose the wording I chose versus the one you gave me. But I think I know who's gonna win this. But I had the pool is what it is. So I have Hippies, which hippies are awesome. The show alone is called Two Hippies, One Drunk. But again, you have to, in my mind of doing these, you got to remember what
very passive aggressive of you.
Right.
And is it drunk? Is it drunks?
Right. Well, there's no drunk on my thing.
I bet you there's not.
I bet there's not. You can't cover what a little too close to home.
No, I think hippies, again, though, to me, all these, you have to think of the extreme versions of the hippie. And so hippies, when you get to an extreme level of a hippie where it's
my problem, if you're an
fake hippies
hippie,
of what I would consider. My extreme of a hippie would be a fake hippie.
Yes.
They call them.
Well,
a hippie.
You know what? Also, kind of fuck hippies, because here's the thing: is we talk about everybody hates boomers. Boomers were just hippies in the '60s,
right?
And that is, if you're being completely honest, we call this show Two Hippies, One Drunk.
Right.
Because there's some truth to that, but also a lot of people who are hippies grow up to be completely a part of the system.
Right.
That's also kind of fundamental to that personality.
Yeah. Sometimes a hippie thing is just a quote unquote young idealistic kid who thinks things are gonna, and then eventually just what are you gonna do?
It can be somebody who's super woke and yelling at you for using AAVE, and then 10 years later they're on Yelp complaining.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so I have hippies, and then I have Scott. When I asked for some suggestions, you gave me middle management, which, dude, trust me, anyone that's worked in a restaurant, especially, or kind of like a Meyer, middle management's annoying for sure. That guy who thinks he's got power, he yields the very little power he has in his life. But here's the thing. But I went instead, though. I went with overzealous minimum wage worker, and the reason I chose I chose that one over middle management is middle management usually is a person who, they kind of got stuck there. They were at a job. Eventually, they're like, well, this is a little more money technically, or it's a promotion. And they have somebody on them in reality. Honestly, sometimes you can feel bad for the manager at like a Meyer or a Walmart, for example, because dude, they kind of thought they were just moving up in the ladder, maybe thinking they were trying. And in the end, dude, they have to worry about everything, plus the guys on the top. And so whatever. But the overzealous worker that's just at the Meyer, I used to work at the Meyer, and they're just they're telling you all the time, can you believe how fast I can stock these boxes? And I'm like, dude, who gives a fuck? We're making $8 an hour. Dude. Just do your fucking shit and go home.
Why are you so happy about
it? And then the middle manager pulls you in, and then they go, look how much that guy's doing. Can't you do as much as him?
Exactly.
I feel like you go up to that guy and be like, can I get some Adderall?
Yep,
Like-
you do. You absolutely do.
I wanna get that
Also
Adderall
true.
from you,
Also
dude.
true. But it's
Nobody's
like to me.
fucking putting boxes away and timing themselves.
Okay, here's the difference.
Oh, I had people do it to me. 100%. That was a real story, dude. I used to have these workers at Meijer. They were a married couple, and dude, they literally the wife would come up to me all the time and brag to me about how hard of a worker and she'd be like, "Can you believe how good of a worker I am?" I'm like, dude, I don't even want to fucking be here. What are you talking?
Okay, here's the thing. There are 3 types of overzealous workers. There's the teenager who got their first job.
Yeah,
Like,
which is a little more excusable.
Everybody's
I can
that
dig
guy.
that up,
Everybody's
yeah.
that person.
Right, a little more excusable. You're young, you're dumb.
Yep.
Yep.
There is
Young and dumb.
there is the Adderall addict.
Right.
And then there is the guy with a hunchback in man tits who's 40
Yeah.
and will brag to you.
Yeah.
Every job I've ever worked at, dude.
What,
Yeah.
what is the hunchback from Notre Dame doing at a Walmart working in super
Every
happy
job I've
about
ever worked at, he's right,
Yeah,
dude. Every
that
job.
guy exists. And
Dude,
he'll talk to you about worse jobs he's had. He'll be like, "Oh yeah, dude, when I was in Pennsylvania, the fucking minimum wage was $6 an hour. I had to work 3 jobs." This
Right.
is
And it's like, dude, I don't even. Whatever. Fine. And like,
Whatever, fine, go away.
dude, 2 things. One, like you mentioned that guy. I had a guy one time who I had never loaded a price gun before. And dude, and like I had to ask him twice, and he literally got belligerent with me. He's like, "You know, blah, blah." I'm like, "No, dude, I don't fucking know this. I wish I didn't even have to learn it."
Yeah, no, I definitely get that. I had a guy I worked with that would get upset that I didn't care about my job. He's like, "You don't even care," and I just like turn around and be like, "No, I don't." And like,
Right,
why do you care so much?
And
yeah,
as I
What's
got
your
older,
deal, dude?
sucker.
Yeah,
as I got old,
it's sad.
as
It's a
I got
sad
older, I would say, as I get older, I agree with like you should do your job. I mean, you are there, do your job. I'm not, as I was a terrible worker, but like, do it. But like, here's but they would be like, they'd be like, "Can you believe how many things I have to do today?" They're like, "He told me I have 10 things to do." I'm like, "Okay, well, here's what you do. Do however many of those you can do in 8 hours, and then go home. How about that?"
Exactly.
You can owe them the 8 hours. You owe them the 8. You're technically signed that, you're kind of in an agreement that I'm working here for 8 hours.
They give you 10 tasks. That's not up to me. The 8 hours bit.
Right.
And the
However long it
overzealous
takes me.
thing, it's Stockholm syndrome. It's
Yeah.
the man kidnapping you has a gun to your head, and you're like, "I actually enjoy that. I'm
I
doing
like
this."
this.
Right. Totally, dude. So for me, let me hit on hippies a little bit so I can be a little fair.
Yeah.
My thing would be, I'm more into like what I would describe as almost like fake hippies, like where they pretend they're like that, but really it's like, they're like,
They're
"Oh
living
man,
in a fucking nice ass home that they bought, or like
right."
parents' money. Like a lot of that stuff is aesthetic. And I
30-year-old
don't
trust
like that.
fund kid dressed up like a Native American.
Yeah.
Right.
Whoa.
Yes.
Not cool.
Yeah.
Not cool. Like, yeah, that's a bad hippie. That's a bad hippie right there.
Yeah.
I'm gonna
Like,
say,
hippie shouldn't even like the fact that it is associated with that kind of aesthetic is irritating too, because even like you're right, like those people back in the 60s did get indoctrinated into the system or whatever, but like even that style, that was a fuck it, let's be naked, let's like not wash our hair, let's not do that stuff. Now it's like you're doing it in a way where it's fake. It's not.
I think it was
fake.
always fake. I think the
you don't
fakeness
think-
has
you don't
always
think-
been fundamental to it.
You don't think in the 60s that their whole style and everything wasn't authentic?
No, I think it was an entire generation of, when we talk about like trust fund kids and people like that, an entire generation of them.
Yeah.
it was the first group of Americans that their parents finally had a little money, so they decided they could like, "Oh, we're just gonna be free, man, and just do whatever." Is that what you're kind of saying?
I understand that. I just feel like it was more. It was coming from a place of like teenage like angst of fuck.
Yeah. I
And
get what you're
now
saying.
it's like, I have to be the thing, so I have to do the thing and make myself look like the thing, and then
Yeah.
I'm the thing, rather than like, fuck it, I'm gonna go in the woods and do some drugs.
Yeah.
Like, it's a different mentality.
I mean, I think that category is a little bit broader than just hippie, but I mean, I can't stand
That's
people
true.
that dress up like try to present a certain aesthetic.
Right.
When they're not that way. Where it's
I'm
just
still
like,
gonna
if
go-
you're not dirty, why is your hair dirty? Like, how did you do that?
I'm still gonna go with overzealous minimum wage worker just because of so many experiences in my life. What do you guys think?
Oh, I'm going overzealous minimum wage worker beyond any of the people that we've talked about. So.
Okay, nice. Well, they're on the other side.
I don't really mind. Like, if I just feel bad for those people.
I do too.
Honestly, weirdly enough, I'm gonna go hippie. I know I'm like, you guys are against me, but I really don't like that. Like a fake hippie. Yes, fake hippie to me is worse than some idiot who doesn't fucking know any better and is just following the rules.
Yeah.
And by the way, as I move on to the next thing, these will only a few of these in here. For the most part, anyone that listens to this, you're getting a very clear window into what the people I decide are stupid in a sense. Like, by the way, so
it's fair. But I'm still going hippie, but I think overzealous.
The worker will move on 2 to 1. So this next one I'm going to do, I'm going to go. And by the way, the first one I'm going to say with this is like, I don't personally mind. Like, a lot of these, I don't mind the theory behind it. It's really, though, what the person is like that will say or be this. And so there's I don't watch TV person. Like, I don't watch TV. Like, you're like, oh, dude, you check out that new show on Netflix? I don't watch TV. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, and it's like, dude, we all get it.
Fuck you. Fuck you. Fuck you.
Dude,
yes, you do. Or what the fuck happened to you?
Okay, this is a hard one for me, though, because I do think TV is trash. I think
I agree with that. I'm not debating that.
Yeah.
You're a fuck if you say that you don't watch TV.
Well, and here's the thing. You should never define yourself. I've met that guy, too. People be like, oh, I don't watch TV. Like, that says something positive about their personality.
Right.
And you should never be defining yourself.
That's mainly what I mean. That's why I said, like,
because if the alternative is being like, no, I'm kind of more focused on, like, I garden or I do.
Yeah, I like to read.
Stuff. I like to read a lot. Like,
that's exactly what I mean. When I said that, that's why I said like the saying
says that as a personality trait. Fuck you.
And you know what? I guarantee you.
Or hey, how was being a Mormon or whatever like cult you were in?
How was being either you're Amish, or even if you are Amish, you have another stupid thing you like.
Yeah, that's kind of my point. So my point was like, you're right. In reality, I'm guilty, but I think my biggest addiction beyond even drinking is TV watching. I fucking watch way too much TV. I don't think it's good for me at all. But again, it's more just like I hate the person that says, like, usually the person that says I don't watch TV, it's more about usually what that person is like versus like you said, like it'd be one thing if like, oh, you watch
it's very telling.
If you watch that show on Netflix and you're like, I don't watch, if they were like, I don't watch a lot of TV, I try to do more this or that, read, then it's like, okay, that's fine. That's actually smart. It's just like, I don't watch TV. It's like, okay, well.
It's like, well, you're a dumb piece of shit. I hate you and everything you represent. Like, you're just going to keep trying to act like you're better than me.
Yeah, and they're going to go up.
Yeah, that's the real problem.
Yeah.
Right.
It's the one-up, like a life one-upper.
Yeah.
Yes, that's true. That's true.
Explain to me, and here's my thing with those, like, I don't watch TV sort of people, is if you're not living your life, then how come you're the most boring person I know?
Right. If you're not watching TV, dude, you better be doing some shit, dude. It better be like.
The only way you get to say that is like a dude falling out of a plane and fucking like base jumping and being like, I don't watch TV.
That's what I'm saying. Or anything. Well, this guy who doesn't watch TV also doesn't have a lot of friends. Why is that? Why are you not hanging out with your friends with all this free time?
I don't really have a lot of free time, is what you say.
Right, no, you're right. Scott's right.
Like, I'm doing stuff. Yeah. But you say I don't have it. Yeah, I don't watch TV. Like,
dude, if I took all the TV watching,
yeah, exactly.
If I took all the TV watching time out of my life, like, you're right. If I just took that out and said I'm not going to be a TV guy, dude, then you're right. You better have like a garden, dude, that has some like legit shit in there, not just tomatoes and and stuff. Like, it better be like you're
like a living, breathing, fucking little beast.
An ecosystem.
Yeah, like I developed a dome over my garden, and it's like it's self-sustaining or something.
Yeah, exactly. I look at my moat like that.
Yeah. And so they're gonna go up against this is
I'm just railing ass left and right. I don't have time for TV.
I would hate that guy as much as I would hate no TV guy.
Honestly, I'd be like, shit, man. I gotta start having sex more.
I would hate that guy as much as I would hate no TV guy. If you literally said, I don't watch TV, I'm just banging ass.
I hate him, but I wouldn't really hate him. I'd just be like, you son of a bitch.
I have them going up against, and I think in your mind you probably would have assumed religious versus anti-religious. I have both. If you're hard into religion or hard anti into religion, like to me,
as
again,
one category.
If you have a really strong belief,
right? Like it's not just like, oh yeah, I go to church on Sunday, or oh yeah, I kind of don't believe in God. But if you have to let everybody you ever know that you don't believe
you're
in God,
stupid because
or that you
think God's real, or
right?
Like you're stupid because you think God's not.
Yeah, like oh, I go to church. Oh, you go to church? You're a fucking idiot. That's not true.
And here's my thing with all of this stuff is none of us have any fucking idea why we're here. None of us have any idea what this goddamn thing is. Nope. And for you to assert that you do is just so absurdly
just in some fucking meat bodies hoping that like
exactly.
I know what exactly.
It's so arrogant.
Well, if you think about this, Scott, like to me, and I've gone through different paths in my life on religion and where I stand on different things. But if you think about this, for someone to go, it's stupid to believe of some guy in the clouds that society thinks. Well, the thing is though, it's just as stupid in my opinion to believe that maybe that's not a reason why we're here. Like,
you have no idea.
It's equally believable that there is a creator and like he created this thing as much as it's equally to believe that it just happened. Yeah. Right? Like, wouldn't you say?
Absolutely. Either way, it's like we have no idea.
I'm
not entirely sure if the like judgmental Christian God exists.
No,
like,
I get it. I get it.
Like
right.
in my head, I don't know. Maybe.
And no matter what you are just a stupid hairless monkey that just got dropped off here somehow, and you have no idea
what's going on. And asserting that you do, like even the history that we have, there's not an ounce of proof for either way. Really.
Right.
Yeah. No. You could. Yeah.
I know where I'm going on this, by the way. And you know what's funny? I thought it was, my own self, your guys' like discussion on this actually, I think changed where I think I was going to go. Well, let me have you guys say it first because I'm going to wait.
Say what?
Our vote.
Oh, our vote?
Yeah. What do you think?
I'm doing I absolutely despise religious and anti-religious.
I'm going TV.
Oh, wow. So it's going to be a 2-1. You know what's funny? I would have thought I'd go against anti-TV because I'm such a TV guy. When I hear someone say they don't like TV, I'm like, oh, fuck.
I just feel like it says a lot about you. And the other way, I kind of empathize with the other, like the religious stuff, just because I grew up in that. So like I understand being like completely blind and thrown into that thing.
Well, here's what I'm going to do. It's funny.
But
sorry.
And the other one just kind of proves to me that you're a piece of shit. I don't know.
Here's what I'm going to do. And I think this is maybe a weird reasoning, but I'm going to go that hardcore religion and TV.
Fair.
Wait a minute. What was I doing here?
Religion on either spectrum or you don't.
I'm going to go that that's worse. And my reasoning is that as much as I don't watch TV guy. Yeah. Again, it kind of goes back to there kind of is in reality, it's not even a bad trait. And it's not even like a terrible thing. It's just that we all know what that guy's like. The person to me that is so against religion or so pro-religion that they think that the other person is not even like able to be in their circle of humans. It's like, dude, that's not what any of those should be about. Like, even if the fact, like, if you're so religious, you should not be against hating anybody. It's all about, if you're religious, it's God's decision to sort it all out. Like, it's not you.
And the thing is to me too, is it's like in both aspects, like the religious person, the super religious person thinks he's better than you, even though like most of the time he's a piece of shit.
Or gripping on the reality from that one thing.
And your super anti-religious person thinks he's smarter than you. It is most of the time a moron.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
I agree with you. I just feel like the religious stuff tends to be more like, I feel like it's a thing that they were trained in. They can't get over that concept, and they're holding on with everything they have that this better be real or everything shatters them. The TV thing is like, you're a piece of shit. You just want to act like you're better than me.
You're so
always.
Passionate about this TV.
I'm so angry.
You're like a heroin addict and somebody.
You know what's funny is like
talk about my TV. It's not even the TV thing. It's honestly evidence of the type of person you are, right?
Which is funny because,
and
like
the
I
other
said,
one, it's like I don't know how you got here. You might have been some shit in your life led you to need this to be real so that you could get through life. And the other one, it's like, no, you're a jackass.
I don't know.
And it's funny because I picked anti-religion, and I probably watched more TV than you guys combined. I would be guaranteed almost that I watch more. Like I am addicted to TV, and I still went anti-religion because in the end, I'll give
really doubt that, Eric.
Tyler watches a lot of TV.
Well, we'll have to talk about it one time.
Nowadays, I'm turning into a I don't watch TV guy, but for a long time.
You're not turning into I don't watch TV guy. You're turning into I have things to do.
Right. Okay. Let's we're gonna go on to this one. And some of these again can sound similar, but I do think there's differences. And the aggressive hipster, which I think that most of us could fall into a certain line of hipster for sure. But the aggressive hipster to me is the guy that like they literally choose what they like and don't like based on that. Oh, now it's not popular anymore.
Yeah, like when kind of that way.
Like when PBR,
he might fall into that spectrum a little bit.
Does he let people make those decisions for him though?
Do I let? No. Okay, here's what. Go ahead. What are you gonna say, Eric?
I'm just like I would say like, I know what Tyler's trying to say about Scott, but like I don't feel like Scott would let other people literally let him know like, oh, PBR is a popular hipster beer now. And then like 8 months later, it's like, yeah, no one drinks PBR anymore. And Scott just stops drinking PBR. I don't see him as that guy.
No, I agree with that. It's just more like, oh, it's popular. Fuck that thing.
Yeah, and I would say
that's
like,
different. That's different.
Yeah. Because here's my thing. If I were to defend the aggressive hipster, I would say that I cannot speak for everybody. The same way we were talking about there's a fake hippie and all of that too. Like you can do this where it's just this fake personality. But I know for me, I don't not like a lot of popular stuff because it's popular. I don't like it because I don't like it.
Right. And you don't give it a chance. That's not true. You never give those things a chance.
Well, but I would say that one of the main reasons for that is that if something is broadly appealing to a ton of people, it means that it needs to be broad. It means that it needs to be stupid. It means that it needs.
That's not true.
Because you're trying to. If
you hit an authentic note with.
Yeah, I would disagree. I know what you're saying.
Then it can be good no matter how big it is.
Yeah, okay, but if you're making a movie that has to be sold to a Chinese market, and that's a part of it.
I agree.
Now, somebody who English is their second language, they have to be able to understand the movie. It means that children have to be able to understand the movie, and I'm an adult watching it. I don't want to watch a children's movie.
Right. Yeah, I know what you're saying. It's a tricky line, because I do think that something can hit that's very, very popular, and it's just that authentic and true, like Tyler's saying. Yeah. But I also know what you're saying, like, I know what Scott's saying in that sense, but again,
I'm saying Scott, give it a chance.
But see,
that hipster mentality prevents.
Tyler has too much of an aggression towards. Tyler has too much of an aggression towards Scott in this that he can't. I don't know if he can think.
When
clearly,
it comes to that, because I know him. I know him. It's like give things a chance. I don't like. I'll watch anything.
I'm going to be very interested.
I am a media slut, and I'll watch it all except for horror stuff. But like. I think the mentality of closing something off when it genuinely could be good, even if it is child stuff.
Yeah, if it's for children, I don't want to watch
Avatar: The Last Airbender. It's dope as fuck, and you're wrong, and you should check it out.
It's gonna be interesting when we spend a lot more time together. When I get to see, that's gonna be the thing I'm most interested with Scott is to find out on a day-to-day level. I think it'll be really interesting for me to see how much think he gives things a chance versus how much he's just shutting shit down. And we'll see.
Here's my thing. I give things a chance. I've seen, a dozen Marvel movies?
You don't get to count that.
Marvel movies.
No, a dozen. One. There's 22.
Yeah, I know, but I've seen enough that at 33, I go, I'm not going to waste my time.
You were forced into that. You were forced into that.
The Marvel movies are dumb, so.
You were forced into that through work.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. The point I'm making is
You didn't give them a chance. You reluctantly saw them because you were forced to.
No, okay.
All right, hey, I hate to do this. Let's like pull it a little bit back on Scott and more just the generic.
I'm not trying to attack Scott. I'm just
no.
saying that, like,
I don't mean. I'm not that you're trying
category.
to. I'm not trying to attack him. I'm just trying to like kind of bring it back in a little more to generically like the aggressive hipster.
My vote is the other one.
I didn't really hate it that much. I'm just saying.
I will tell you the other one is, and I know you could argue that this one is maybe a Yelper person. I disagree, but I have this I listed it as like the don't hold back person, and what I mean by that is like, dude, we are in a society. We all have thoughts. And you're at a job, for example, like we talk about overzealous workers. We're at a job, and you have that one person's like, I don't mess with talking behind people's back, and I don't lie to people. I just tell what I think. And it's like, dude, that's not how it works in society. We have to like work around other people. If you know that someone, for example, doesn't really love country music, why would you just sit there? I don't know how to explain it. I don't know if I'm explaining it too well, but like they pride themselves that they don't hold nothing back. They just tell the truth all the time, and it's like, that's not really very functional to me. Like,
and you know, like I've seen it expressed before, and I think it's absolutely true. Where people will be like, you know, I give people like the hard truth, and it's like, well, what about like the nice truth? What about like the fun truth?
Yeah, right. You can still give a truth without it being hard or hurtful.
Right, exactly. And it's like, go ahead.
No, go ahead, Eric.
No, it's just, that was a good. Scott gave a much better example there, and it's like, yeah, dude, like you. My dad used to say this, and I used to hate it, but like when we watched like Liar Liar as a kid, you know, and the joke obviously is that he can't lie and stuff like that, and it's like my dad was like, and that was a movie, so I remember hating my dad for having this opinion, but it's kind of what Scott's saying, like. Yeah, okay. There's a difference between lying and being at work and not having to go like your coworker comes in and you go, "Wow, that's a stupid haircut." Like, dude, that's not
like I like your I got a boner right now.
Right? You could be authentic.
Wash my hands in there.
right. You could be an authentic.
Jesus Christ.
You could be an authentic person and not have to like just say everything in your head 24/7 like you're a fucking animal.
There's definitely a gauge, and even people that say that aren't being that way.
So in a bracket between me and Eric's dad, I'm picking Eric's dad.
I'm picking you. I'm definitely going hippies with this one because the other one, it's like you're lying, but that's just you want to act like you're big bravado. The other one really annoys me because it's just stop trying to hate on things that are good just because. You fucking
okay.
Well, here's the thing about hipsters that I do hate. The true hipsters, because I actually would consider myself a level of hipster, but I like a lot of very popular things that a hipster would, of course, cringe at terribly.
I feel like you and I, Eric, are very similar with that.
Right. I do too. We just got done watching all the Fast and the Furious movies. I love those movies.
And you actually liked them for some reason. So crazy, but
they're amazing.
They're a lot of fun.
Dude, they're so fun.
No. My big thing with hipster, with the aggressive hipster, I kind of said it earlier, but like the best example I can give, I already gave in my opinion, and that was I just remember a few years ago, like I said, this PBR beer, which used to when I grew up was just a shitty dirty 30 kind of beer. It went to this period for years where all of a sudden it was popular, and then like it just went away, and it was like, dude, no, do you like PBR? Or were you just drinking it because people told you it was different now? Yeah.
Here's a perfect example living in the mind of a hipster that I would order PBR all the time. It was because I was 22 and I had and it was cheap and I had no idea what beer I did like. So it was like, yeah, people order PBR. Sure.
That's different. That is different though. It's different than if all of a sudden you're just like, if all your friends at the table, quote unquote, are like, oh, yeah, we don't drink PBR anymore. And you're like, oh, but I still like it. Whoa. It's like I still like I have got into microbrews and stuff like that so much more than I ever have. These days when I go on trips, I like to get beers that are made in the city, in the state, homemade, not Budweiser anymore. Having said that, dude, I'm still a cheap beer drinker. And when I go to like a camping, I still get Natty Ice and shit. Yeah. So it's like, I don't drink it because it's
cool. Going for hams, dude. It's just
hams, hell yeah.
But my point is like,
Jesus Christ.
I think it's okay to love like offbeat things.
And I
Absolutely.
don't give a shit about beer, but Jesus Christ.
Well, whatever. So what are we gonna? Go ahead.
Well, I was just gonna say, I realize, Tyler, your vote probably will not change, but really think about the sort of human being who does do that. Like, oh, I just tell it like it is. The fucking it is the worst. This guy, he loves cops. He fucking wants you, like, he wants to catch you for any tiny rule violation you've made.
But somehow he's in this clear all the time, by the way.
He wears a shirt. What'd you say?
He's in the clear all the time, by the way.
Yeah,
though you can't tell. You can't tell. You can't
he's
tell
one
that
of those,
person.
If you're dating my daughter, I'm showing up with a shotgun and we're gonna have a conversation.
Okay, so hold that example because I already have somebody like that. Well, let's hold that example for another person. But let's somebody. I'm gonna go with hips. You know what, dude? I'm gonna go with aggressive hipster.
Man, I will say to end any of this, I think that Scott genuinely slided into the hipster role authentically and then went a little hard when he got into it. But I think that it was a genuine thing. I don't think that Scott is an uppity prick when it comes to that stuff. I just think that he, like I said, he fell into that role and leaned into it.
So are you going anti-hipster or anti...
I would say, I'm not a huge fan. Hipsters piss me off with...
Yeah, I'm sorry, I don't want to waste my time watching things for children.
Waste my time.
I'm sorry.
Okay, all right. Children, you jackass.
So here's what we're going to do, by the way. So I will say this, and we have 3 more in the first round. I'm gonna let those go as long as like the discussion goes. So I'm not gonna hurry up with those. But after that, not that we necessarily have to do this in a certain time frame, but we're gonna do these 3. I'll let them, like, those who can play out however they play out, and then the rest of the bracket, we're just gonna firebomb it through who's the worst. Okay? Because I feel like we've done good enough discussion on these. I'm gonna go with my least favorite of all the things, because I wrote it down first when I was coming up with these ideas, and then I just never changed it. But we'll go with it. So this is my least. We'll see. You'll see. So I'm going with goth people. Overly, goth kids.
People are into golf.
I'm sorry. Can you both of you say this word again?
Goth.
Oh, goth.
Golf. I know, dude. Golf? I talk. Dude, you know what's funny?
I like golf.
Oh, okay.
Golf.
Goth.
Like
sorry, goth.
Golf. Okay, goth.
Sorry, you know what?
I was like, am I having a stroke? What is happening?
Yeah, what's a golf person?
You know what, Scott, dude? I have no ties to, like, Chicago, for example. No, I have some family that moved in to Chicago years after I was born, so I wasn't around them. I have no ties to Chicago, but people tell me all the time that even though I've grown up in Michigan and lived there my whole life, I talk more like a Chicago. Like I say, I kind of goth and I water.
And
it's weird because it makes no sense because I don't have any reason per se that I should have a tie to it.
You do have
I can imagine you ordering a hot dog with everything.
What does that have to do with goth?
At a vendor's.
Because I said goth instead of goth. Sometimes I say water instead of water. Like, kind of like
you're almost sliding into a Boston thing.
I know. I have a weird mix of a Boston Chicago accent, and it makes no sense. But anyway, so I'll go goth kids, and then the annoying vegan. And I'm not saying that veganism is wrong. It's just like hipsters. I consider myself a hipster.
Yeah.
But the annoying vegan that just has to let everybody know that they don't eat any animal shit. Like,
okay, as somebody who has been a vegan and is currently a vegetarian, I hate annoying vegans. Yeah. They're the worst. For multiple reasons. First of all, because I do it for health reasons. That's my primary.
Right.
Anybody who wants to judge you for
you don't fall into that category.
No, and anybody
anybody
who wants to judge you for your diet and shit like that, it's like, you know what? You're getting like slaves in South America picking your bananas.
Yeah. No matter where you go with it, it's still
almond milk takes a lot of fucking water
these death squads killing labor leaders in Guatemala so you can get your fucking tomatoes.
Yeah.
Right.
And you're better than me. Fuck out of here.
Yeah, totally. And it's like, and it's like, to me, for example, and I'm not saying, unfortunately,
I'm sorry,
goth kids. I
really hate goths.
Well, the goth kids to the extreme, I suppose, would be, again, the kids that just walk around. And it's like I had kids in high school, for example, that I would almost call them skater goth kids. And it was like, they were like, "Oh, we're
it's
so against
style. You're breaking out into your life. Like,
okay.
You don't know what's going on.
Well, let me ask, what is it that fills you with anger?
Yeah.
So that was what I was gonna say. Like, so me, I always saw goth kids as like almost like skater kind of goth kid. Like they were kind of the one and the same in my high school. They kind of hung out together. And so this is a personal trauma for me. It just comes back to like a personal thing where it was like in high school, like they're like, oh, I don't wear Abercrombie and we don't wear the trends and we don't do what's cool. And that those same kids would make fun of me because when I was a freshman, country music had not gotten popular yet. By the time I was a senior, it was starting to get actually popular and it was okay to say you liked it. But as a freshman, people didn't like it. And so like these goth kind of skater kids, anti-conformity, would rail on me for wearing cowboy boots.
You
and
got
I'm like,
bullied by goths, so they entered this list.
Because they were cooler than you.
No, because it was bullshit. Because they sat there and said, oh. It was bullshit because they sat there and said, oh, we don't follow the mainstream. We do things different. And I'm wearing cowboy boots. And then they go, oh, you're a loser. You're wearing cowboy boots. I'm like, dude, I'm doing the fucking same thing you're saying I'm doing. Like,
I get that. You're like, we're both nonconformists. Like, why would you not be
actually, you had more They were more conformist, dude, because they actually had like the goth kids, and nobody was wearing fucking cowboy boots.
Just Eric,
right?
Boots and what was it? Like
big old belt buckle, dude, and shit.
His Hillman suit.
Here, talk for a second amongst yourselves.
You just filming.
So okay. Just speaking of annoying vegans, this is one of these things too that to me is like
should not have worn that to school.
No.
Yeah, like wearing like this big old belt.
Yeah. So Eric just put up for the listeners. He has a giant gold belt buckle.
Yeah,
there's some eagles on it. Goddamn it!
To school.
Did you put it down into the trash?
And he's trying
just now.
No, fuck no.
He should have.
Really
which, by the way, talk about inauthenticity. I actually got this at the Mall of America, so real authentic. But
you paid so much money to look like such a loser.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Those guys were right. Yeah, those guys were right.
Oh, I'm bringing this. You guys are gonna. I'm gonna make you guys have to walk around with me wearing that at some point. Now,
I'm cool with it. I'm just gonna make fun of you just like those guys.
Yeah.
But we know him. We just,
So I would go annoying vegan.
PTSD.
Those fucking kids. I was more fucking anti-conformity than they were. Sons of bitches.
I don't really mind goths.
Yeah. Okay. And can we? Because
extreme vegans are shut the fuck up.
Extreme vegans. Okay. And like, we said specifically extreme vegans. No, yeah, well, we said specifically extreme vegans and but you
annoying vegan actually,
or annoying vegans. You can make a comparison the same way we lump together extreme religious and anti-religious people. I also equally hate the guy who makes the fact that he eats meat a part of his personality.
Yes.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. No, for sure. And you know what I was going to say about when you said about vegans real quick about this? And there's, in this day and age, dude, how our meat is made. Obviously, the arguments, which is why you don't, I'm assuming, eat it. Like, how our meat is currently made is, that's a whole topic that you can get into. But when they talk about the idea of eating animals, if their reason is just, I don't want to eat animals, dude, what would they have done 300 years ago? The reality is, if we lived in a society that our animal, you got your meat from your home farmer and it didn't have GMOs in it and it wasn't, they weren't treated terribly, it was just for subsistence, dude, I think then you lose your argument to me, because humans have eaten, would you have been a vegan in the 1700s? What would you have done?
I think there's something beautiful about hunting. It's not my thing, but it's
if you really have a relationship with the thing you're killing,
how the Native Americans did it, and it's they would have sacrifices, and they felt like that was the cycle of life. So my point is yes, in this day and age, there's a very good reason not to eat the meat that is provided to us, especially as Americans. But if you're saying it as a thing of you're better than the system, dude, it's only been in a few hundred years, maybe even 100, that you could even argue that was an option. Thousands of years, dude, you were eating meat, dude. Sorry.
Okay, and even when I was a vegan, they would do this thing. I was talking to Tyler about this the other day, but just very briefly, there was this thing amongst annoying vegans where they would yell at you for using honey and being you got to use agave syrup or whatever. You're stealing from the bees. And it's you know what? These bees, they just make the honey. We're just taking it.
It is just there.
Okay, the only thing I'm going to say,
you're providing a home for them and stuff. And now studies have came out.
They make their own home. They don't need you.
No, they do. They do.
No, actually, they do more than ever these days.
Because we're killing them out.
But it doesn't matter. But that's our way of bringing them back. If that's our way.
I guess that's
what
true.
I'm saying. Like, the beekeepers are not the people running the fucking 5G towers or whatever it is that's killing bees.
Right. and so it is what it is.
There's those fake birds putting out a signal.
Well, and I would argue, like I said, that's my point. I would argue that literally, I don't know how long it's even been feasible to be a vegan. You could argue maybe 100 years, maybe even less than that. And so it's for those people that say like, oh, it's wrong to eat other things because they're animals. I'm like, dude, I'd love to put them in a time machine and put them in 1700 because you're not fucking, that's not happening. Like you're gonna eat animals. Like
you get hungry enough, you eat other human beings.
Exactly. I'm gonna go with annoying vegan despite my personal vendettas against the goth.
I don't mind the goth, so yeah.
You didn't want to get
vegans
owned by having us go against you anyway. So yes, that's right.
All right, so I've got 2 more categories, and then we're gonna rapid fire to see who the worst is. I'll go with this one because Scott was kind of getting into this a little with the last one. And it's funny because I am a belt buckle owning, natty ice drinking, NASCAR beer drinking dude. You know what I mean?
Is that your Tinder profile?
Having said that, fucking
just
country boy.
His fucking boots as your profile.
Having said that, dude, country boys, dude, fucking country boy, you know, dude who, like Scott said, you wear my daughter, you know.
Yeah, I'm about to kill a boy.
Right, yeah. Like, oh, blah, 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 blah. It's like, dude, me and my friend Ty, a very good friend of mine, we both love country music. We both, like, honestly can fit in a absolute, you know, country dive bar, but we also equally hate fucking country dude, you know, who's just over the top, fucking dip in his pocket, you know, blah, blah, blah. Has to have a big old pickup truck lifted because he does. You know?
You're in this very weird position where it's like you are country, you are a nerd, and you are a hipster, and you get along with none of them.
I know, dude. I don't know if that's. I don't know. If you say that, I don't know if that means that I'm just honestly kind of a free spirit who am able to do things in a genuine way, or if it means I have an incredible amount of self-hate, and yet I like things, but I hate all of them.
Why not both? Yeah, for real.
I am a weirdo in that sense. I am. I guess you could argue a unicorn in a lot of ways of things I like but also hate. I think I just hate extremes of everything. I think that's what it is. I don't like when anyone takes things to extremes. I like that you like. It's like, I know people fucking hate Kid Rock, and I don't care that you do. It's fine. But like when people got mad that Kid Rock started singing some country, and they're like, "This is bullshit. He's singing country. What is he?" And I'm like, dude, why can't someone sing 2 types of genre music? Why does someone have to just sing?
He was making terrible rap music, and now he makes terrible country music.
Which is right, and that's, you know what I'm saying though. Even if you have that opinion though, it's still bullshit. To me, it's bull. That's a valid opinion, a criticism of Kid Rock. An unvalid criticism is going, he made rock rap. Why is he singing country now? It's like, because he's an artist. You know, whatever. I'm just saying,
but
you
get to do whatever you want with it.
Because you can do other styles. You don't have to be one person.
You know, and this is kind of like just a very small side tangent, but like that is a thing I've really felt like that has to be kind of crazy. Is like, you think about how much all of us have changed in the last 10 years. How much anybody listening has changed in the last 10 years. Imagine being famous and then having a thing that you do and then being like, well, that was a thing I did 10 years ago. I'm not the same fucking person.
And to use Kid Rock just kind of as an example, again, and I understand, I'm sure you guys are not big Kid Rock fans, but to use him as an example, even he at some point acknowledged, you know, kind of realized that, dude, I can't be doing rock rap, you know, like you said, like kind of white suburban rap for my whole life.
45.
I have to pivot on some level, even if he did it just to make money, like he did it, whatever reason he did it, but like, in reality, though, that would be very normal. The Beastie Boys, dude. The Beastie Boys hated Fight for Your Right. They didn't play it the last 10, 15 years they were together. Or maybe not 15 because they weren't. But for sure, 10 years they were together. Hated it. They came to despise.
That's a good point. That song sucks ass.
No, and they later also though later they came to despise like the idea of like that they were just male dumb kid party boys. They didn't really like misogyny. They really got later. They stopped doing songs that they used to write that they felt was like mean towards women and stuff. So the point is, they grew up at some point, and the Beastie Boys are obviously highly respected. But they changed at some point. They kind of grew up and they realized, wow, dude, that wasn't. I thought that when I was 19 and dumb and making albums, but now I'm 30 and I don't think that anymore.
Yeah, imagine being 45 and performing Fight for
Honestly,
Your Right to Party.
Some of the best artists out there are the ones that actually lean into the changes of their life.
Well, and this might be a controversial opinion. I'll say that country song he did is the best song Kid Rock ever did by a mile.
Which one? Because he's actually done a lot of country music lately. But
stayed up all night at a hotel. I have no
the
idea.
One with,
with Sheryl Crow.
Sheryl Crow. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, that's a good song.
It's the only listenable song he has, in my opinion.
I never really listened to him. So
I like Kid Rock, but you know. So I'll go. So in Country Boy, going back to the Country Boy, we kind of described him enough. So I think, but like I said, to me, dude. Again, Tyler says this all the time, and I said I didn't want to say it too often, but dude, it's why actually I don't like country music as much these days as I used to. Me and my friend always used to say this, for example, about country music. People joke like, "Oh, it's about beer drinking, this and that." Real country music can sing that without just saying, like, country music these days is just like, "I drink beer, I sit on a truck." It's like you can do it without saying that. You can tell those stories without just being obnoxious, and so that's. Again, I just don't like extremes, I guess. When it all boils down to it, I don't like extremes.
And there's this thing that happens with all, like, because as a rap fan, I would say the same thing, where it's like, yeah, you're fucking, if you're rapping about, like, your Gucci and all the fucking, like,
money you got,
all the money you got, all the cough syrup you drank or whatever, like, at a certain point, I'm like I feel like
specific.
it's a lot of mainstream rappers.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like Lil Wayne.
Little Wayne started it, but like seriously, if you listen to any mainstream rap in the last 10 years, it's literally a list of like pharmaceuticals and like like clothes.
Just a list of.
By the way, what a brag! If you really think about that, what a brag! Your brag is every week, every night. I'm just sitting there down in NyQuil. Woo!
Right,
you know
my grandma's
like,
addicted to painkillers too.
right. It's like,
but for real, that is such an old person thing.
I always think it's funny. I always think it's fun to like. To me, I always say like you can have a fun song. Like I always think you can have a fun song like that here and there. But if some of your other songs, if every song you have is just a brag about, and like you said, whether it's rap or country, where it's just like, I'm so country, it's like, okay, just be it. Just be it.
And it's just, I feel like this is why I'm a hipster, is because if you make something broad, that's what it turns into. You like the country you like because it's specific.
Right,
because
that's true.
It appeals to you. If you're doing it broadly, it's got to be, hey, I sit on my pickup truck and I drink my beer and I give my horse some beer and now my horse.
Yeah, you're right.
And
this, by the way, this guy,
that's authentic. Yeah, I fucked my horse.
And by the way, Country Boy was going up in
country that you think exists.
Hey, we've talked about it before.
They fuck
way
sheep.
More people fuck
farmers.
Sheep. Farmers fuck sheep.
Farmers
all the time.
Every day.
I have Country Boy going up against the gym freak, the dude who just dude or girl, by the way, and it's very non-sexual at this point, guys and girls. But
there's a problem to me.
What's up?
I don't like the gym freak.
Here's my thing. No, I would go the other way. The gym freak at least has a talent. That's actually impressive, at least.
I guess the other thing is just done. Like a that is true.
The other thing is I grew up in a trailer in fucking
I feel like a gym freak
so you know,
that on you. I feel like a gym freak, you know a gym freak. He's like, let's go to the gym. It's like,
they spend hours, dude. Dude, they bring their gallon of milk.
Nice, cool gym freaks, to be honest. So they're not all bad.
Full on gym freak.
Yes,
like 3 or 4 times going to, 3 times going to the gym a day.
Dude, I used to work with this guy who ran like 10 miles a day and would constantly talk about physical fitness. Loved the dude. He was a cool guy. I would ask him questions about physical fitness.
Fair enough. The more you're talking about it, the more you're convincing me. I just feel like I don't want to be roped into your gym shit if you are extreme into that.
Well, I don't want the other thing.
In my arms.
But you're right. A country, like a country boy or whatever the fuck. is a faker, just persona of what he thinks is cool.
But I will say with the gym freak thing, I don't want you trying to arm wrestle me.
No,
I don't want you fucking feeling my stuff.
Yeah, or like telling you.
Don't punch me. Yeah. Yes, 100%.
Or unsolicitedly telling you about how many reps they do or what their weight is. Like if you ask, if you're kind of saying, "Hey, man, I'm thinking about going to the gym," that's one thing.
That's a different thing. But if somebody's just asserting that, like, yeah, I did 55 pull-ups on a man. Like,
I always remember, you know what's funny when I think about the gym, and I used to be, I ran a few marathons in my day, so I used to be for a period of my life. It was the one period of my life where I had really no direction, so I just chose running as like kind of a, this is me now, because it was a long story, but there's always a thing from Seinfeld. I think of the overly gym dude, where there's a scene one time in Seinfeld where Jerry's out to dinner with this one guy, and he's that guy. He's just like, yeah, Jerry, I do these reps and this, and he's like, so Jim, Jerry, you go to the gym? He's like, no, I don't. He's like, well, you should. And Jerry's just like, why? And then the guy has no answer for him. He's just like, Jerry's just like, why? And he's like, yeah, well, you should. It's like,
the truth of the matter is, you should be cultivating a talent.
Yeah.
No matter what that thing is.
Yeah.
So
you don't even need to go to a fucking gym because it's just an overpriced area to do the same shit.
I disagree with that. Honestly, I think, honest to God, like if you can go like a Planet Fitness, you don't have to go to these ones where you spend $500 or whatever. But honestly, a Planet Fitness for
exercise once a day, you do some sit-ups, you go for a run. You don't need to be paying that much.
Okay. No, but for some people, it's like going to the gym. It's like it gets you in that mindset. Like honestly, it's like I go to the place and this is my time. They have the equipment there, and it can be social too. If you do it without being extreme, it can be social. You know the people.
Here's the other thing I would say too. Another reason country boys are worse. Country boy, the same way I was saying, the most obnoxious thing about a gym freak is he'll try to arm wrestle you, he'll punch you, he'll like do all that. Country boys do that shit too.
Oh, I know.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
Country boys are gym freaks without the tailing.
I just feel like country boys aren't including me in their country bullshit. Like
that's a good point, though.
Say something about Black Lives Matter in front of us.
I'm not going to talk to that person.
You're going to get real included.
I'm not going to talk to that person. I'm going to go,
to Tyler's point, I would say
might not know if you're a gym freak until I talk to you.
Yes, to Tyler's point, I would say for the most part, those country boy losers, like I know what you're talking about. You mentioned Black Lives Matter. But gym people, I do think if you picked one of the two that will unsolicitedly just come up to you and talk about it, I do think it'd be a gym nutso.
Gym guy, country boy's going to be with his little group country boy friends.
I don't know. You're around a country boy. He's going to explicitly be like, you know what? I'm a country boy.
Gym guy, blah, blah, blah. I'm being roped into shit. That's my issue with them. And the other way, it's like,
but here's the thing, like Scott, like say you're just at a job, right? You're just working your job at the restaurant or wherever you're working. I would say in that setting, I do, and trust me, I voted for Country Boy, by the way. I think the Country Boy is the worst. But in that setting, I think more likely you're going to get a fitness dude come up to you and unsolicitedly talk about fitness, and versus the Country Boy just coming up and saying, so you like cold beer? Or, you know what I mean?
I don't know. I have had multiple people in their life start out conversation or a point they're making. Well, I'm a country boy and blah, blah, blah.
Hey, that's fair, dude. You're using real life examples, and I can't.
But are you saying they walked up to you out of nowhere and said this shit, or you were in a situation where you had to talk to them?
Well, in either way.
No. A gym guy might come over and be like, hey, you look weak. Why don't you come to the gym?
A gym guy's not going to come knocking on our doors.
You're like near a gym. Near a gym. They're coming running out and be like, hey, why don't you get in here and
listen, I'm avoiding country boys and gym guys if I can help it in either situation.
Country boys, it's easier to avoid. You'd be like, oh,
I would agree.
Like you got that hat, you got them boots, you got everything. That guy I'm gonna avoid. Just anyone could be a gym guy.
Nah, you know a gym guy. Yeah. He's got his back is real straight when he walks. Like, he doesn't have the freedom. Yeah, he doesn't have the freedom of movement of a regular human being.
Yeah. Kind of sits on his chest with his arms.
His torso just kind of pivots.
Yeah, see, I'm going to avoid this.
Yeah,
you're going to be seeing a lot of this at some point in your life.
Fucking cowboy hat on, and we're ending the podcast.
So I'm going country boys. Tyler's going country boy. So that wins. We're gonna do one more, and then I'm gonna pose a question for you guys how you want to continue this, because I have a thought that hit my head. So we're gonna do the last one of what's like the first round of this tournament of the douchebag bracket, and I think this could be a close one, honestly. And it's boomer. I know I never knew what a boomer was until OK Boomer came out. Really, for the most part, I mean, we knew what baby boomers were, but I didn't ever thought about it in that way.
Yeah.
But what we all know is a boomer.
We all didn't like old people.
What?
We all didn't like old people.
Oh yeah, for sure. I've never liked old people. Which I mean, now that I'm 37, I don't. What an old person is keeps just moving on.
Oh yeah, that's how it goes.
Like, because I realized, like, I was at the bar with a friend recently when you talk about that, for example. Like, 37 and the term MILF, right? Like, oh, there's a MILF, mom I would fuck, and it's like, dude, those are the people I should be healthily dating at this point in my life. Like,
she's 5 years younger.
There's a woman.
Right. That's just right. It's like I was like, oh, look at that MILF.
Hot lady.
Because of how I live my life, I've lived such a Peter Pan existence that I don't see myself at 37. I swear to God, most of the time in my head, I still think I'm like 21, but whatever. So a boomer versus what I described as like, and dude, we are all on social media. We all use social media to try to do what we do. So I get it. But the person who's like says, right, that they're an Instagram model / influencer. And it's not like they're a rapper. It's not like they're a band. They're just a person.
Just taking pictures.
Just the average girl who's just like, I'm a model, and they have 800 followers, or even even an Instagram influencer that has, say, 10,000 followers, but literally all they do is like, oh, I went to a hotel. You know what I mean? And like,
yeah. Okay, here's I'm inclined to go for the Instagram person right away. And the reason for that is like, okay, I'm not at all going to fault, like, girl posts fucking attractive pictures of herself online. Like, okay, you're nice to look at. I'm totally down with that. If you want to do that to get attention, that's totally great.
I agree.
I have no anger. I have no resentment. God bless you for doing it. But my problem is that a lot of these Instagram influencers, there's a lot of attractive women in this world. There's a lot of and really what it is most of the time is it's these people who come from wealthy families and they just pay for the exposure.
Exactly, dude. I've watched some shit on that stuff, dude. Not only they pay for the exposure, but like, dude, all the things now, like how they just have rigged where like you can pay for $500 and you pay to have like someone has set up a stage that looks like a private jet and you just put it on your Instagram and it's like, it's not even
like
even
renting out a home or that kind of shit.
To me, if you're living a real life, like Scott's right, if you just have some rich parents and so you were just able to, oh, I go to France, whatever, blah, blah, oh, here I am, in Ibiza. And it's like, dude, you fucking never had to work to get to this level. You're there, so you're able to throw pictures of it. But
and not just that, and you're able to pay people to follow you.
Yeah, right.
Like that's a huge part of it too.
I didn't realize how much paying followers was.
You say what about like, boomers running everything and fucking shit up?
Yeah.
What about them just destroying everything?
Here would be my argument to that, though, dude.
Tangible problem.
They'll be dead in another 10 years. The Instagram.
Oh, and then, by the way,
watch them deteriorate and get Botox.
Isn't that good, though? Isn't that good?
No.
Watch the fall.
No, then they're going to turn into Yelp reviewers.
We don't need more Yelp.
And by the way,
it's going to be the new boomers.
By the way, just like what Scott said about hippies,
right. We don't need new boomers.
Yeah. That's already coming. It doesn't matter because that's human nature. But because what Scott said with the hippies, and then they turned into this, dude. People can say what they want about boomers. Dude, human nature, and you cannot want it to happen. You guys can be better people and hope that it won't. But in reality, as people age, they tend to lean that way. And when boomers die, dude, in 10 years, the millennials were, not all of them, but the millennials and the Xers and the whatevers, a lot of them will end up just turning into the shit anyway.
Here's the thing. I actually disagree with that. And here's why.
Okay.
Is because the boomers did that because they had material comfort. Our generation does not have that. In order to become that person, you have to own a home. You have to have
that's a good point.
Middle class.
Yeah, one person going to job.
No, we're gonna be a bunch of weird drug addicts and unhinged eccentric people.
That's a good point. That's a good point.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
But I don't think it will. But I don't think it will. Okay, that's a good point, and I think you're right. Although my argument would be is when he said like, "Oh, get rid of the boomer," it's not going to be. I don't think you're going to be in 10 years just the boomers being dead is going to equal some, utopia.
Because you're replaced by something else. Awful.
Yeah, robots.
Right. So, something's always coming down the line, dude. Something's always coming down the line. I'm trying to think. Influencers. You know what it is with influencers to me and like models? I agree with you, Scott. Like, you're right. You're a hot chick. That you can get followers that way. Go ahead. Don't fucking sit there though. What I was saying, like, you go on a lake, for example, out here in Michigan, lakes are everywhere, and not that they aren't other places, but I have a friend that you go on a lake and it's like, dude, you get these girls and nothing against them, man. Do you make you happy? I don't really care. But every person just walking around like, oh, I'm an Instagram model or like, dude, you're on a boat and you're like, dude, you're not going to be a famous person. You're not. Yeah. You have 50 followers, you have 80 followers, and you're trying to take the perfect fucking selfie on the boat. And it's like, dude, just live your fucking life. Live your fucking life, dude.
I hate what were you gonna say?
This is, and I've had this conversation with other people before, but like, in fact, with Tyler before, but like, here's my thing. You and I will sit there on social media and try to perfect our joke, make our joke work.
Absolutely.
It's the exact same thing. It is the exact same. I have this talent, and I am looking for attention because of this.
I feel like that's not true because, like, even in the case you were talking about, it ruins. I've seen shit like that. People doing posts and taking pictures. I hate that shit in real life. I feel like that gives me a grimy.
No, here's the thing about those girls that are different to me.
Like somebody out in public. I feel like it cheapens the thing we're doing. Like, if I'm
what do you mean?
On a hike. Like if I'm on a hike or something and I see like girls essentially taking a ton of photos for Instagram.
Mind your business. Just keep going.
I'm just saying I have to see. I'm there for it. It's taking me out of this place.
Well, you're a weak-minded individual then. No, you should be able to walk by.
No, because they're existing. I have to experience.
Here's what I would say.
To sit there and watch you do that shit.
Here's what I was going to say that little goes against what you said though. Like they're doing what we're doing.
Cheapens life so hard.
What I would say is different.
All social media does.
Guy or girl. Oh, of course it does. Guy or a girl that is trying to be a model versus you're trying to be a rapper versus you're trying to be a comic versus you're trying to be the difference to me is for a lot of those girls, for example, the talent. No, real quick, the talent is just finding a filter, finding the sunlight. Yeah. It's not. They're just a beautiful person for the most part. Like for the most part,
it takes work. It takes work. It takes work in the same way. It takes work for you.
That's a good point.
To like, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, we're naturally funny people. It takes work to do the thing.
No, you're right. That's a good point. I think you're right. That's a good point. I think the influencers do bug me still quite a bit.
I think they bug me because most of them, like you were saying, are getting a free pass because they have money. And also, I feel like they absolutely cheapen fucking experiences.
I feel like I'm scrolling through Facebook. It's like, here's a funny joke. Oh, God, this is what's happening in Israel right now. Hey, here's some titties.
Right. Yeah, that's a good point. I will say this, too. You know what's funny about boomers when you get into the boomers when they talk about, like, filming everything they do, and it's on TikTok or whatever TikTok is, blah, blah, blah. When you talk about boomers like that, I always say to myself, like, dude, shut the fuck up. You talk about the generation that says like, oh, in our day we used to have like lawn dart, whatever and shit like that, or we didn't have to like all the shit they did that they're proud of that we don't quote unquote maybe get to do these days. They would have put that on the fucking internet in a goddamn second if they could have.
Oh, boomers fucking love attention.
That's always my biggest thing about when quote unquote boomers will make fun of younger kids with social media. I'm like, dude, their take is actually right in the sense, like you said, that social media is technically terrible, but they would have fucking done it in a second if it was available to them.
No, they try to do social media now and they can't do it and it makes them angry.
Exactly. I agree with that take as well. Tyler, got something more to say there, Tyler? I can't tell. He looked really mad.
No, I was just staring at the screen.
Oh, you had like a face where I thought I had said something that angered you.
Just thinking about those Instagram models.
Right.
That's goddamn. I don't really care about them. I just feel like they absolutely cheapen life.
Here's the thing about that. Like, what's an interesting thing? I think that with everying, I think they
make it worse.
I think you should be able to walk by them a little bit.
Is what people make of it, and those people suck.
But here's the thing, though. Having said that, like on my end, like something that we're going to talk about more in the coming up. But like, I do agree. I think if your whole hike that you go on is about that, but if you're trying to do
I'm not even
something
talking about that. Like just going downtown and having it like in a city and seeing that shit. It's gross. It's like seeing a ton of like fucking like tourists at a place too. It's just like it's overwhelming and kind of gross. It's like not
that doesn't bother.
It doesn't bother me.
It takes away from the experience.
Here's what
it puts it into a processed thing rather than
I would say this.
I'm experiencing this shit.
I would say this. It bothers me when I see someone doing it over the top. It does bother me, but I'm certainly able to just walk by and go, wow, that's dumb. Okay, let's
well, that's
hike.
true. I'm not saying I'm stopping and being like slapping their cameras.
Yeah, but you're kind of suggesting
that like a little bit of a glare happens.
But you suggested it got into your headspace. Like you allowed it to get into your headspace versus maybe being able to just walk by.
Yeah, I mean, it is. I mean, I walk
because they are just living them, dude. They are just living them in reality. Like if they're
living what they perceive to be the perfect.
How do you know that though? You don't know that individual
because that's what that thing is.
Everybody on social media is doing that. But beyond that, like really, what it is this: hey, I'm an attractive person in an attractive setting. Let me take an attractive picture.
Yeah.
And then I'm scrolling through social media, and then I see it, and it's like,
I feel better about it if they have like an actual like photographer. They're doing it themselves. It just feels weird. I don't know.
Well, but that's way more. That's way more That's way more like self-starter, dude. Like, dude, I'm fucking
and if
doing
we were doing brackets, I hate photographers more than I hate Instagram models or boomers.
Oh wow, you son of a bitch! Well, I'm glad photographers
are not. I'm not saying that.
Yeah.
I'm just saying I feel better about that. It feels like an event, a thing's happening. The other way, it feels like
a thing's happening. A sex pest is taking a picture of some woman in your life.
Yeah. But I'm not seeing that. I'm seeing the veiled version.
Okay, here's what I'm gonna do. By the way, we're gonna pick now, and I'm gonna go. By the way, I'm gonna go Instagram model influencer for the sole reason that everything that the boomers that you guys hate and did wrong, unfortunately in my life led to me. I think it had benefited me quite a bit. So I'm gonna take the Americanism, capitalism bullshit, even though it's wrong probably on a lot of levels. But it gave me a good life. So I don't like boomers either for the most part. But I had to pick one. I'm pretty close on this, so I'm gonna take Instagram modelers because they don't do nothing for me. And technically, my dad's a kind of a boomer, and he gave me a good life. So
I think I talked myself into hating boomers more.
I know. That's all right.
I'm going Instagram, Instagram models, influencers, whatever.
And so here's what I'm gonna do, guys. I didn't plan on doing this, but we all have such strong opinions on all this stuff, and we're already an hour and a half in. Originally, I said, "Oh, we're gonna do these, and we're gonna rapid fire through these." I think that the fact I didn't foresee how long we would take in all these and go through like what we thought of these individuals.
Yeah.
What do you think about me coming back and doing the top four, like the next, or do you want to just rapid fire them now and see who's the worst? I'll let you guys kind of talk it out.
I'd be open to either one. I personally feel like the rapid fire might be better because what else are we going to talk about with these?
That's a good point. Okay, that's a good point. So let's. I'll have you. We're just, for these ones. We're just going to kind of vote. We're not going to really give. We've said all we kind of say. So we're going to go over Yelper versus the annoying vegan.
The over Yelper versus the annoying vegan. Ooh,
Yelper.
I'm going annoying vegan. Actually, I really do hate annoying.
I hate Yelp.
I'm gonna go annoying vegan too. I wasn't sure. I'm gonna go annoying vegan.
Here's my thing. As somebody who was a vegan for years and a vegetarian, I hate the energy I get from people when they find that out about me. They're ready for me to be annoying, and I'm like, all I'm doing is just I have my.
I'm not one of those. I'm not one of those.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm not one of those.
Exactly.
Okay.
So we'll go. Yep. We'll go hard religious versus anti-religion versus a Karen.
I gotta go hard religion and religion.
Yeah, I got that too.
I'm gonna go that too. So we'll just leave that there. Country boy versus overzealous minimum wage worker. This is close, by the way. I think
Overzealous minimum wage worker.
Definitely.
I think it's close, but I think that's it for me too. Because, dude, what are you thinking? A country boy is a dumb guy. But like these overzealous
the other
workers,
one you're gonna have to deal with.
What are you doing?
Most likely, it's somebody you're working with.
Right. hipster, over aggressive hipster versus the Instagram modeler.
Instagram model.
I'm gonna go Instagram modeler too in the end, dude. I think the aggressive, even at the aggressive hipster's core, they're trying to be. They're not hurting anybody. They're kind of lame.
The aggressive hipster, when we talk about whether or not you have to deal with somebody, the aggressive hipster is not shoving their choices in your face. They're just going, I don't like the thing you like.
Scoffing at it.
Yeah, just scoffing at it in the background.
Yep.
Exactly.
So now we're going to go.
Tyler looking at an Instagram model.
Exactly.
You're damn right.
Now we're going to go.
Deal with me, but I hate them all.
I don't hate them all. It's an extreme
Pigeonhole you.
Okay, moving on. We're going to go aggressive vegan versus over Yelper.
Aggressive vegan.
No, we didn't. We do that.
Didn't we just do that one?
Yeah, we did that, dude.
No. We did. No, we did. Shit,
yeah.
Did we?
Good catch. Yeah, I was.
We did vegan.
Oh yeah, sorry.
Vegan one.
So we're going aggressive vegan or annoying vegan versus religious people.
Religious or anti-religious.
Or religious or anti-religious, either one. Yeah,
Religious
hard.
or
I gotta go religious or anti-religious. I hate those people.
I know. I'm gonna go with that too. And unfortunately, it's one of those things. So all right. So then it's Instagram modeler, such influencer versus the overzealous minimum wage worker.
Overzealous minimum.
Yeah, I gotta go overzealous minimum wage.
Somebody you're
You know
really
why,
gonna
to
have
me,
deal with.
At least the annoying Instagram model influencer, they are trying to do something. They do have like a goal.
And like Scott said, it's something pretty to look at.
Yeah, at least you're attractive. Overzealous minimum wage worker
Not
is very
attractive.
rarely attractive.
So in the championship of worst ever, we have the hard religious or anti-religious person versus the overzealous minimum wage worker. Take a little time. You know what? We got along a little time, but it's okay to take 30 seconds if you want on this one. Let me think. I'm leaning, by the way, towards overzealous minimum wage worker because I just think they're so dumb. Yeah. Why are you doing all that work for a Meijer? Or a Walmart.
I think the religious one is worse because, the other guys, he's annoying.
But he has a work ethic. Really, he's trying in his mind. He's trying to work hard.
He's not gonna burn me at the stake.
Yeah. An overzealous minimum wage worker never did the crusade.
Very good point.
So I'm thinking religious. Yeah, religious for me.
Okay, as the tiebreaker, that I gotta go. I'm gonna go overzealous minimum wage worker.
Fair enough.
Do that. Yeah.
Fair enough.
And you know what?
They're both awful.
I despise that person at minimum, but I'm gonna go with at the heart. Almost everything in this bracket.
He never said, okay.
Almost everything in this bracket, it kind of came down to at the heart, they were trying to be a good person, maybe. So at the overzealous worker, he's an idiot. He's dumb for thinking that. He is retarded. But also, when you work at those places, you want an overzealous worker in a way because he's gonna do a lot of shit, and that you'll just kind of slack.
No, because then he hates you, and that you're supposed to elevate your game.
Sometimes it just depends on what. Some restaurants,
have worked there longer than them. You're in the clear.
And then the other thing is, at least technically at the base, they think they're being a good worker. They think they're I'm pulling my boots up or whatever. The anti-religion or pro-religion, dude, you are just literally. It's so much hate. Yeah. And in reality, if you don't believe in religion completely, like we all said, dude, then just let people believe what they believe and move on. There's no reason to call them dumb, and there's no reason to pretend that God's 100% true. So unfortunately, I didn't mean it to go this way, but I don't know where I thought it would go, but the hardcore religion versus anti-religion, I think in the end, there's just no base. At the base, there's no kindness there. Where at least at the others, you could argue there's a level of good intentions.
Yeah,
sure.
I agree with you.
Yeah.
So that's what we got. Religious people and anti-religious people are the biggest douchebags.
Right.
Douchebags.
The winners of the douchebag bracket is.
And I don't think we're gonna do final thoughts for this one because I feel like we kind of gave our final thoughts by giving a winner. So we'll leave that. Scott is coming up next week, and did you want to say what you're gonna do?
Yeah. Okay. So, kind of keeping this spirit of doing some looser, fun sort of games, I'm going to set up a thing, we've talked about before in the past that I have an obsession with knowing a lot of stuff about different famous people and different organizations and stuff. And I'm going to set up a game between Tyler and Eric where we'll have different rounds and they'll try to pick. They get a point basically if they can come up with somebody or something that I don't know some sort of like shady information about.
None of us are getting any points. It's going to be a 0-point game.
we'll have to work. We'll have to be creative and try to figure out how to do it. But I like it. Yep. I like it. It's a fun, again, kind of a fun style thing.
I know, I'm down. I just think that it's going to be
how much hate I have.
He's either going to ruin a lot of shit for us or, maybe we'll brighten his life.
Yeah, maybe.
I get it. You know how much hate I have in my heart.
Yeah.
All right, so that was this week's Two Hippies, One Drunk. Thanks a lot, everybody, for watching. I know we were on a different time this week, but we try to do as good as we can. We'll be back on a normal time next week. Everybody that likes and comments and stuff, we really mean a lot. It means a lot to us and whatnot. And please just share our posts if you can here and there. We'd really appreciate that.
Yep. 5 stars on iTunes.
5 stars on iTunes, and
this will be out tomorrow.
On YouTube. What's up?
Episode,
and this will be out tomorrow.
Yep, on
or today if you're listening to it.
Yeah.
If you're listening to it, it's available right now.
You downloaded it a day later.
Right. If you're listening to it, it's available currently. All right. I guess that's it. Bye. See ya.
Yeah.
See ya.